Hey, welcome back. Welcome to Module 5. This is CSS Syntax. In the earlier modules so far, we've been talking about HTML. And I've done this for a purpose. I wanted to make this sort of a stepping stone. I wanted you to be familiar with HTML. I wanted you to be comfortable with that before we started talking about CSS. There's a lot that you can do with HTML, and it's important that people really get a good handle on it. That it's just not simply you just write this structure code, then you move on to CSS, boom, you're done. Each one of these elements is very strong. Now we're going to get into CSS syntax. Syntax is just basically the way the CSS is written. This is important, largely because if you do not write the syntax, you do not mark it up correctly, it doesn't work. And the problem becomes is when you mark it up and you look at it, for some reason our eye cannot find the problem. And so you'll show somebody else, my students will say, sure, it's not working, take a look at it, and I can't always find it. It's like going into the refrigerator and looking for the bottle of ketchup. Somebody else has to come in there, and sometimes they can find it, sometimes they can't. It's in front of your eyes and you miss it. So it's really important that you do the syntax properly and you go through it and you really understand how to do it. For this module here, you're going to have two learning objectives. The first one is to explain the concept of cascading style sheets. What it means for the style to go down through so that the last style sheet that's available is the one that the machine will use. The second one is to attach a CSS style sheet to your web page, an external style sheet. There's two ways to put CSS. One is within the HTML page. The other one is with an external style sheet. And as we go through the materials, you'll see that the external style sheet is really the preferred way because it gives you a lot more freedom. In this lesson, there's two lessons. The first one is an introduction to the cascading style sheets. And one of the best ways to do it is to go to this Zen Garden CSS. What's so good about this is it shows you how in each one of these different layouts, they use the same text, but they do it differently. So even though they use the same one, it shows up in a different way. Here's one design. And then here's another design. All of these designs still use the same information, just different ways of doing it. Pretty cool. See how differently they all are? So, this is the power of CSS, the style sheets. Then we'll talk about how a style sheet actually works and what you have to do. Then from there, we'll then talk about the concepts of style sheets and how to stay updated with it. With this basically the W3C web page. That's this here. And you go to this page here and it'll give you all the latest information on CSS. The reason I do this so much is once this course is over, you're going to go on to continue designing. And it's really important that you know where to go for more information. And as things become updated, or you go to a website and they say, hey, do this. And you say, wow, that really doesn't look like the correct CSS. You can go to this authoritative source and it'll tell you whether it's right or not. You can look at it. Okay, so it's really important that you do those things. Now, then we're going to get into lesson 2. So we'll go back to module, lesson 2. And we'll talk about how to actually do the external style sheet itself, how to have it work. Once we've done that, then there's the quiz. You take the quiz with module 5. And then once module 5 is over, then you're into module 6. Okay? So take your time with this one. Enjoy it. It's exciting. And I'll see you during the course.